you talk a little about the abilities for gamers to mod their own game or to create their own content in ways, especially on maybe what's standard right now, which is the UI and the macro set?
Oh, sure. We've actually been, during our beta process, we've actually had a small group of people that have actually been working with our main engineer, Kristen Neal, who's been handling the UI modding aspect of the UI itself. She's also done a number of other aspects of the visualization of the UI as well. So we brought these people in to work with us to try to figure out, okay, what do you want out of the ability to mod the UI, or mod the game itself? What type of functionality, what type of content? It's a fairly standard XML Lua system that we have for the visualization and scripting on the back end. So we've been working with them. They've been making their own little mini mods and major mods to figure out exactly what they can do to try to break it, to try to make things better. What we want to do is around the time of launch, we want to try to open up a mod API available to everybody in the community. To basically, hey, this is how you mod our game. This is how you mod our UI. This is what you have access to. These are the type of mods. Here's some examples of some mods that we might have. When we want to make it so that people that haven't been pre-ordering the game or playing in the beta or anything like that, that are picking it up for the first time, are able to go to third-party community sites and be able to already see an access of mods that are available out there. We've also been working with the mod community such that certain inherent concepts we've actually just built into the base UI itself. Whether it's the functionality to be able to move and resize any single window that exists in the UI itself, whether it's able to be turned off or on almost any single element within the UI itself. Basic concepts that people usually mod their UI for to begin with, we want to make sure we build into, and we've gotten that functionality. We've worked through that functionality with the UI community itself.
That's very, very cool. And so the macro set also, do you have something there?
Right. Our macros are very simple compared to most. In many other games, macros are actually, it's almost like an intense scripting language. The idea is that you can set up scripting with the loops and things of that nature. Our macro system is very basic. It's very similar to what we had in Dark Age of Camelot, where basically it's a text string based comparison. It allows you to fire off any slash command that might be in the game, or any command that you might have. So it's mostly used for fluff text, as I like to call it. So the idea is that if your character has a specific battle cry that they want to do before they charge into combat, you can create a macro, add an icon associated with that, drag that down to your hotbar. So while you're charging into combat, you can fire that off. Might fire off an emote while the little text string goes out, the shout that everything goes on, so people can associate that with your specific character. Very simple, but very strong in the sense of being able to multiple slash commands as far as multiple lines of text. If you want to give an oratory speech to your troops, like for the RP servers, you can preset all that up, via the macro system. So you can just fire them off one at a time. So you get this really whole rousing speech concept, which we've seen in beta at least a couple times as well.
That's very, very cool. So what future plans are you doing? Obviously the UI and the macros are phenomenal. You did mention though that there is a SDK of sorts available to the community to create content. Can you talk more about what that enables users to do?
Pretty much it enables them doing anything from simply reskinning the UI itself if they didn't like the visual art style that we picked for certain windows or for the entire UI, all the way to actually making actual mods that create additional window concept or things from a clock to the ability to track certain functionality. For example, there are certain abilities that happen in the game where if you get hit, for example, this is a good one. The shamans in the game have an ability called Gork Says Stop. Basically the way it works is that if you're hit with that, if you continue moving, you're continually to take damage. If you stop moving, you don't take the damage. Gork Says Stop. So one of the modders out there has created a UI mod where basically it's that whenever Gork Says Stop is hit on your character, it has an extra visual aspect that happens and hits the game window itself. It basically says, boom, and so that way you're more actively aware of what's going on around you. It doesn't automatically do anything, doesn't automatically try to remove it. It helps the end user experience, so they're more aware of what's going on tactically in combat. So that type of functionality where, enhancing the end user experience is kind of what we're hoping with the mod community can really work on, working with us and us working with them through modding our game.